you know, I remember when I was going to college, he was like, man, you know, pretty much like in doubt. Like, I hope this music thing worked for you. You know what I'm saying? But it's like just hard work, bro. And it's like I wanted to make sure that he's seen. Like, okay, like you can really do this. You know what I mean? So he's way more open to it, bro. Way more.
You think you feel any pressure from carrying his name?
Oh, 100%, all the time.
Do you have internal battles sometime? Like, I hope I'm doing the right thing by this last name or this name in general, because I think you a junior too, right? You just like me.
Yep. Yes and no. I do. I feel like I do a lot of things and I make sure I think about it first, or I do sometimes, you know, do stuff and I maybe ask him and, you know, get his thoughts on it. But I've also, you know, just been able to have that type of conversation with my dad, like, yo, like I'm still my own person, and you know, I got to do what I think. You know, I think is best. I'm gonna definitely take your input and take your, you know, encouragement or whatever the case may be. But you know, I mean, I feel like that's just like with you, bro. Like you have to kind of take your own path and just you know, and just see what happens, bro.
Yeah, for me, it definitely was. I always tell a story on here, like I didn't want to live in the shadow of Greg Davis, right?
100%.
So I created rock. Well, Devon and Juan created Rock Cobain.
Okay, right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right,
like we was all original rock boys. You know what I mean? And then it went from there. So, like I took my own path and I've chosen to stand on it too. You know,
100%,
but it works for me.
You have to.
You know, but I do feel like I probably, like I was telling C's earlier, like, you know, I can see myself literally being a preacher one day. I probably won't be a traditional pastor because I feel like I'm called to the marketplace versus like the actual church house. But I could see myself having a definite voice that I would like, you know what I'm saying, God to use for certain things. I ain't got to
that point yet, bro.
But think about how long it took me to get here. I'm 40. I just turned 40, right?
Yeah.
And I fought probably the last 20, 25 years of not wanting to. But
are you talking about like literally fighting? Because you was doing that too.
I mean, I was doing a little bit of both.
So he was getting to it.
Yeah, I was getting to it. But I think where I'm at right now is I'm able to hear the lane that God has for me. And I think that's key, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Because we all know we called in some aspect, but finding the lane that you're supposed to be in, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So since we've gone to that conversation, I'm going to pull a T-Mail question out because I'm going to throw this one out there for you, T-Mail. Being that you're a church kid and you also work in the marketplace, right? What do you think about the current state of church right now?
Bro,
Talk to me.
That's a hard question.
Talk to me.
Bro.
Talk to me. Because we always talk about how we miss the old days. We miss how church had its tradition, its value. You know what I'm saying? Like the vibe of church, right?
I mean, it's funny that you asked me that. So I was actually in my dad's office today, and we was actually
This nigga got called to the bishop's office. This nigga called to the principal.
Hey, we was actually having a conversation today, and he pretty much asked me the same question. He was like, pretty much like, how do you feel about it? And I gave him like my rundown on how I feel like we're at a day and age where it's like we almost have to move with the times or we're lost. Yeah. But at the same time, I miss the traditional church. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like it's also sometimes harder for the younger generation to understand that because we don't have traditional church like that for real. So they don't really know what that is for real.
No, yeah.
And so
some of these young niggas, right?
Some of them, right?
Some of them.
But then he hit me with this. He says, well, okay, how did he word it? It was something crazy. He was pretty much like, well, pretty much saying like, okay, well, this is what he said. So he said, okay, they did a study on, we was talking about virtual church versus, you know, the traditional church. And he was saying, well, they just did a study on how toddlers or kids, their eyes are deteriorating way quicker because all they have is TV, tablets, and all this stuff at a young age. And he says, well, okay, so does that mean we change the church and that don't mean it makes it right? So it's like, what do you do? Like, do you change it or you don't change it? Because the new way don't mean that it's right just because we...
Caesar be saying that.
You know what I mean? It's true, though.
My nephew's always some of this new day. It's a new day. But I mean, nothing under the sun, right? It's changed, bro. The Bible, the stories, all the stuff just keep it's recycling itself. You know what I'm saying?
But then, like he said, he's like, but does it still make it right? Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like that's just a hard question. Like, does it really make it right? And I feel like some stuff just work better for other people. And that's just how we have to just leave it. You know what I mean?
I think the cameras need to come out of church again.
I think they need to put the pulpit back in the church.
Oh, bro,
That
no.
stage is the.
It ain't no pulpits, bro.
Bro, this is the craziest thing,
The
bro.